The boss of the company behind plans for a new power station at Peterhead says it will be vital for the country's energy security for decades to come. The plans would see a new station built next to the existing one and use carbon capture to help bring down emissions. But more than 1,600 people and 30 organisations have objected to the plans, warning it will create more emissions than previously stated. Stephen Brown has more.
Perched on the northeast coast for more than 40 years, Peterhead Power Station has been vital to Scotland's energy needs. But the gas-fired station is reaching the end of its engineering life and is one of the biggest polluters in Scotland. Now there are plans to create a new plant next to the existing one and use carbon capture to bring down its emissions.
There will be an enduring need for flexible thermal generation like Peterhead, and what we want to do is mean that in the future that's far, far lower carbon, that is much closer to being a net zero power station by applying carbon capture and storage and abating the emissions.
In fact, estimates say by capturing the carbon and storing it under the seabed, it could cut emissions at the new plant by more than 90%, a claim climate campaigners dispute. The role of Peterhead Power Station has changed over the more than 4 decades that it's been in operation. Originally, it would have operated at almost full capacity for most of the year. Now there are days that it's not in use at all, as our use of renewables has increased. Those behind the proposals say a gas-fired station is still needed though, for when the wind isn't blowing or the sun shining. But campaigners say the focus should be far more on renewables.
What gives us real energy security is publicly owned renewable energy that isn't tied to the kind of volatile international prices of gas and that can bring bills down for people. So when we think about what delivers for people in the northeast of Scotland and the rest of the country, we're looking at things like wind, solar, direct electrification. We're not looking at power stations.
The predicted emissions the new site will create over its lifetime has increased by around threefold. Campaigners say more than 1,600 people have objected to the plans in a consultation that closed yesterday.
What hasn't changed is our assessment of the direct emissions from the power station. That remains exactly the same. What we have done now in accordance with the changing regime is we have factored into an environmental impact assessment the upstream emissions from the production and transportation of the gas. But our view on the emissions and our assessment of the emissions from the power station itself haven't changed.
The current station employs around 80 full-time staff, the new one 240.
I used to do a lot of mentoring in my previous job.
One of those is Jennifer Hemmings. She's worked here for 4 years and believes a new station is vital.
I think it's very important for me. As I say, using fossil fuels, it's not a forever thing. We need to keep working on cutting that down and transition toward 100% renewable energy. And this is a good company to do it. And plants like this and a transition like that is the stepping stone in between.
Scottish Government ministers are expected to decide soon on whether to give the plans the go-ahead, but the government says it won't comment on a live application. The existing plant was due to close in 5 years' time. That's now been extended, and the two plants could also operate side by side in a worst-case scenario until 2040. But these plans have opened up the debate on our energy needs. The shift to renewables is happening, that is undisputed, but it may not mean the end to fossil fuel plants like Peterhead in the decades to come. Stephen Brown, STV News.